Welcome back to the Family Ties podcast. This is Kelly Ritchie, your host, back for a quick update for you guys. Per a listener/viewer request, I am giving you guys a quick update on the Orrin and Orson West case. If you remember, in season 2, episode 2, I covered their initial disappearance. This happened around Christmas time in 2020, and both Orrin, who was 4, and Orson West, who was 3, were 2 toddlers who kind of went missing out of the backyard of their California home. At that point, there was just not a lot out there. The boys hadn't been found, nothing like that. But as of today, 2023, so we're 3 years down the road, it looks as if best update I can give you guys is that in a shocking development in the heartbreaking case of Orrin and Orson West, the adoptive parents, Jacqueline and Gabriel West and Trezell Philip West, have been found guilty of second-degree murder. After they first went missing in December of 2020, an extensive investigation by Kern County prosecutors revealed that both Orrin and Orson, it has been decided now that they have been murdered and that their bodies were hidden. So now as the trial reaches its conclusion, the Family Ties brings you the latest update in this developing case. After 17 days of building their case against the adoptive parents, the prosecution team secured a verdict late last week. Jacqueline Gabriel West and Trezell Philip West were convicted on 5 of 7 counts, including 2 counts of second-degree murder, 1 count of involuntary manslaughter, 1 count of false report of an emergency to law enforcement, and 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child. Now, before I go further, let me just preface this by saying the boys' bodies have still not been found. So this particular trial, I found this article by bakersfield.com and use a local news site where they say that the bodies of Orrin and Orson have never been found. And the prosecutor, Smith, said during his opening statement that both boys died in September 2020, despite their adoptive parents reporting them missing from their California City home in December of 2020. So Jacqueline and Trezell said that the boys went missing around Christmas time, but it's anticipated and kind of being suggested that the boys went missing or were dead as early as September. Now, Trezell West told police that he was collecting firewood in December of 2020 from a field adjacent to his California City home, while Orrin and Orson drew with chalk on a concrete slab in the backyard. So he claims that when he returned from collecting wood, the kids were gone. They were trying to act as if someone took them, or they just flat out disappeared. So, without the bodies of Orrin and Orson, Prosecutor Smith has had to rely on several witnesses to show who last saw Orrin and Orson. So, kind of creating that timeline. Prosecutors are doing what is called a no-body homicide. So, in that case, trying it this way, they must prove that the boys are dead and died at the hands of another. So to prove these facts without a body, an attorney must provide a mountain of evidence proving their claim. So here's the thing, is that this case has a pretty strict gag order, and so we're just not going to know a lot of the details here. So 3 lawsuits emerged surrounding the disappearance of Orson and Orrin. The first involved the adoptive parents and the Kern County District Attorney's Office. So while the second was filed by Orson's biological father against Kern County Human Services, the third lawsuit was brought by the biological mother of both boys against Kern County Human Services. I don't know what these charges entail. I have no idea if these human services were involved in the kid's life before this, or, while they were under Trezell and Jacqueline's care. I'm not certain, but all I can tell you is, much like the rest of the cases I covered, these proceedings have been shrouded in secrecy due to a gag order limiting the release of information about the investigation. And that includes the names and of kids that are actually testifying against their parents. So that's a pretty big deal. I did want to read you something that sounds like a lot of the West family did get up to testify. So Trezell's mom said she hadn't seen Orrin and Orson since February of 2020. She was told they were at the house of their maternal grandmother, Maria Martinez, which wasn't unusual, Wanda testified. The Wests have 6 children total. So people are testifying as to the last time that they saw with their own eyes Orrin and Orson, because that's kind of what we're trying to establish here, is when was the last time they were seen. It's looking like September might be the last time. So one of Trezell and Jacqueline's children said he doesn't remember how long both children were there living with them in the California City home. He thinks he remembers seeing Orrin sleeping in a bunk bed in California City. This child also said he remembers Orrin and Orson helping him decorate a Christmas tree. A 9-year-old son didn't recognize pictures of Orrin and Orson when they were shown those pictures by the prosecution. However, this child said that Orrin and Orson did not move with them to California City. So there's a lot of conflicting testimonies here. And for kids, it's a lot harder to tell time, to track those things. I would highly recommend, I'll include the link to this article for Bakersfield News. That way you can check it out yourself. But it is pretty interesting. There's a lot going on here, but we're not going to know the details. And that's typically how it goes with these cases that involve children, is that the details are obstructed. They can't reveal the name of children, specifically the kids who are testifying. If you know the West family, you probably know the name of these kids who are testifying, but still, just for their interests and their privacy, because they are underage, that is something that we have to just kind of deal with in these cases. So the sentencing for Jacqueline Gabriel West and Trezell Philip West is scheduled for July 13th, which is right around the corner. It remains to be seen whether the couple will be retried on the deadlocked charges by the state. The proceedings have been shrouded in secrecy due to that gag order. So, it's going to be, when I hear something, I will let you know. Or when you hear something, please let me know. But moving forward, as we reflect on this devastating case, it's important to remember the lives of Orrin and Orson West and all the children who have suffered similar fates. Family Ties podcast stands as a voice for the victims, aiming to raise awareness for both the importance of child protection and the need for stronger safeguards to prevent such tragedies from happening again. While this guilty verdict may feel like it's bringing some kind of sense of justice, it's a little difficult to tell if that is really truly the case, and if the evidence was compelling enough for this to stick. So that's all I have for you right now. Thank you all so much. And if you haven't, remember, join the family, hit subscribe, like our post, comment, give me suggestions on cases that you'd like for me to cover. And I will be back with more updates on some of the other cases that I have covered in the past. But for now, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you later.